Hi, Apostle Bruce Francois here, and welcome to AskApostleB. Today's question is, how do I recover from my past mistakes? This is a really great question because we all have past mistakes, but we don't all respond to them the same. So stick around, and I'm going to give you a real answer for this question. So here's my answer. You don't ever fully recover from your past mistakes, folks. I don't believe you're supposed to. There will always be scars. Now, don't get me wrong. You might be healed in some aspects, but there will always be lingering scars. Scars are supposed to remind us of the pain that we endured. There might be a physical scar. There might be an emotional scar, or we might have even a spiritual scar. The problem is that we focus so much on the mistake when we should be focusing more on the scars. In order to see the value and the healing from our scars, we need a renewed mind, a renewed mindset, and we need a renewed mind anchored in truth. And that truth is the truth, which is in Christ Jesus. You see, with a renewed mind, our scars are no longer scars. Our mistakes are no longer mistakes. They become troves of wisdom that we can use to guide our lives. So here's some truth for you. In Romans chapter 12, verse 2 tells us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then, only then, you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." That means, folks, we cannot listen to the worldly lies. Stop listening to your friend. Stop listening to your neighbor. Focus more on the truth. Anchor yourself in truth. Until we have truth in our lives, we don't know what God's intention or his will is for those experiences. What if, as horrible as it was, those past struggles or mistakes, what we call mistakes, were actually in God's will to teach us, to guide us, to mold us, to protect us, to prepare us? What if it was in his will to train us, to allow us to get to a next level, to grow us? We won't be able to appreciate the God's intention without knowing this truth, without anchoring ourselves in truth. This wisdom becomes even more profound when you add this truth on top of it. This is the verse I discovered that drastically changed my life. In fact, when you think of it, this verse cancels the concept of a mistake. A mistake is now null and void based on this truth. This truth is in Romans chapter 8, verse 28, and it reads, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." That's a powerful truth. That means that anything can be turned around by God for good as long as we abide by these conditions. Here are the conditions. We have to love God, love him unconditionally, just like he loves us unconditionally. We have to know and discover his purpose for our lives. We have to know that we are called for his purpose. These are the conditions that guarantee that anything that we thought of as a mistake will be turned around for good. That's a promise and that's truth, as long as we abide by these conditions. Once we have this truth and we can anchor ourselves on this truth, we can approach life victoriously. We can walk victoriously. We can talk victoriously. All this to say, with a renewed mind, you don't see your past mistakes or struggles the same. You don't see them negatively. You see the scars of your past mistakes or struggles as opportunities for growth, opportunities to learn. Your scars then become honorary badges of strength, badges of courage, adversity, resilience, and survival. Your scars become reminders of God showing up, God showing his face, him extending grace, and putting things back into place. See, I'm preaching now. I shouldn't be preaching. This is only a talk show. I should be preaching. So stop focusing on the mistakes in your life. and focus more on the grace you get with a renewed mind in Christ to use your scars and to see your scars differently. Stop hiding behind anime. Stop listening to Ray Ray. Stop cozying up with Shanae. Did I really say that? I guess I did. What I really meant to say, you know what? I'm going to leave it like that. That's my answer. I hope my response was able to add value to your life. If you have more questions and need a real answer, just type real and your question in the comments, and I'll try my very best to answer them. Remember, a question is only real when you ask it. There is no silly question when you're growing in your faith with God. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share. And until then, see you soon for another episode of Ask Apostle B. God bless.